think things are at with the budget? I mean, that affects a lot of these folks in this room.
Yeah.
Boy, it seems really people are far apart.
Well, I'm still waiting for the legislature to complete its work on conference reports and for the House and Senate to agree with each other, and we shouldn't, they're both the same party leadership, so it shouldn't be that difficult. And then to set one position that as a honest, balanced budget, as I was required to submit on February 15th, and then we'll start negotiating our differences. And I'm beginning to become concerned that that process on their part is taking long, and that's why I asked that they have every conference report to me by the end of next week, and so it would give us the last 2 weeks to negotiate our differences, which is, we'll need all that time to resolve some significant differences.
It sounded like if you didn't, I think I was watching the Start Review video maybe today, if you didn't get the numbers in time, your confidence was waning that we could get done on time. After
May 6th, if I don't have all the conference reports or very close to it, so that we have those last 2 weeks to negotiate, my confidence would be waning, yes.
What about the risk of a government shutdown? That would obviously affect a lot of folks out in this room.
It will affect all of Minnesota. I don't want to look into that at this point. My goal and my commitment, and the expressed goal and commitment of the legislative leaders, is to conclude on time, May 23rd. So that's what I'm focused on now.
Is there a scenario you would envision where it can't come to agreement and you can do one of these things that, like Congress does, continuing resolution to keep people?
Again, I don't know that that's not possible, but it's not something that we discussed to this point.
It just seems every time I hear the Republican spokespeople, they say no revenues whatsoever, and it seems like they're talking about no revenues, gambling, fees, whatever. How is that? Do you have confidence that there is some wiggle room in there, or that I don't want? Obviously, you can't negotiate in the media, but I think a lot of people are scratching their heads. How are they ever going to resolve this, since both sides, that side seems to be very resolute?
Well, first they have to resolve between themselves what an all-cuts budget really means. I mean, the Commissioner of Management Budget and the Department of Revenue, the two arbiters, have said their budgets are over $1 billion off with the House and the Senate. So, I mean, if they want the people of Minnesota to live with their proposal, all cuts, they have to tell us first what that means and who's going to be affected, how drastically by those cuts. And then people, can assess, whether my approach, which is a balanced approach, raising taxes on the wealthiest 5% of the people of the state and not raising taxes on the other 95%, and then also cuts, but a balanced approach is whether that's preferable to their all cuts. But there's nothing to, other than their rhetoric right now, to compare my proposal and our other proposals with.
Do you think the public has had a chance to find out what their proposals mean? Isn't that supposed to happen through the committee hearing process? And
well, they I think, try to avoid that revelation because they hold committee hearings and they cancel them and they reschedule them, and the committees have moved very abruptly, and then the bills are on the floor with, again, there's one $750 million global waiver, which isn't going to happen on the House side, and a $600 million global waiver, which isn't going to happen on the Senate side. And so, what is the recourse if we were again to adopt their budget when those waivers never come through? And so, it's just, I think they really have tried to hide the reality of the effects of their cuts, which I think in some cases are going to be really drastic on people's lives.